good to go? We good, y'all? We good to go with the thing? Oh, Umar just texted me. Umar said we good. He said we good. Umar texted me, said we good. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. Young brothers, so I could come closer, inshallah. Brothers, come closer. So tonight's lesson is going to be short as we're nearing the end of the book. The next class that we have in this book will be the last class in this book. We have completed this book on Monday, inshallah ta'ala. So next Monday, we're going to finish the book out. And the class that we're going to be starting next on Monday and Tuesday will be Al-Usul al-Thalatha, with Shaykh Salih Fawzan's explanation. We have some in the bookstore. You should get your copy, inshallah ta'ala, so you can follow along. But the three fundamental principles with the explanation of Shaykh Salih Fawzan is the next book that we're going to cover in the Aqidah class on Mondays and Tuesdays. This one we have tonight's class, and then Monday's class will be the last one. Okay. So tonight's going to be short. We have a small portion to cover because the last section is the Shaykh's response to everything that we've been mentioning over the past couple of lessons. Okay. So in the last lessons we have been discussing the statement of Ibn Sahim regarding the Shaykh, and that which he has lied upon the Shaykh with and attributed to him from statements that are incorrect and false. And so we'll get the last of these statements that he brings, and then we get the jawab in the last class, inshallah. He mentions وإني أكافر ابن الفارض وابن عربي وإني أحرق دلائل الخيرات وراود الرياحين وأسميه روض الشياطين. He says, and he also attributes to me that I declare takfir upon Ibn al-Farid and Ibn Arabi, and that I burn the books Dala'il al-Khairat and Rawd al-Riyahain, and that I refer to it as Rawd al-Shayateen. So he says, Shaykh Salih, he mentions an explanation of this. وابن الفارض صاحب المنظومة التائية في وحدة الوجود. He says, so this individual named Ibn al-Farid, he is the author of a poem known as At-Ta'iyya in Wahdat al-Wujud, in this concept of Wahda al-Wujud. This concept of Wahda al-Wujud, it is a Sufi concept. It is a concept of the extreme Sufi. So you have two types of beliefs that are similar, right? There's the belief of Wahda al-Wujud, and then there's the belief of al-Hulul. Al-Hulul is one, Wahdat al-Wujud is another. They're similar, but there are subtle differences between the two, right? Al-Hulul is the belief, the false belief that Allah is incarnate inside of everything. Allah is inside of the wall. He's inside of the chair. He's inside of the tree. He's inside of this, that, and the third. This is the concept that led to the belief of the pagan Arabs before the time of the Messenger of Allah alayhi wasallam. They would worship these trees and this wood and the likes of this, believing that these trees and this wood and the likes are divine due to them having a portion of Allah Azza wa Jalla inside of them. All right, this is al-hulul, that Allah is incarnate inside of things, right? And then there's the belief of wahda al-wujud. And that is the concept of the belief that everything that you see is Allah. You look at the tree, you're looking at Allah. You look at the wall, you're looking at Allah. You look at me, you're looking at Allah. You look at this person, this goat, this cow, this pig, you're looking at Allah Azza wa Jal, because Allah is everything and everything is Allah. It's the concept of the belief of wahda al-wujud, a unity of existence, right? Both are Sufi concepts. One is more extreme than other. Wahdat al-wujud, of course, is more extreme than the other. You find Ibn Qasim, he has written extensively on this issue, and he narrates from some of the stories of some of the Sufi mashayikh. From them, there is one of them who it is alleged that he was amongst some of his students, and he heard a goat, right? A goat make the sound ba, and he said labbaik Allahumma labbaik, right? Because he heard the goat say ba, the sound that the goat makes, and since he believed that the goat in essence is Allah, When the goat made its sound, he said, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. I'm here, O Allah, at your service to do whatever you want me to do. Right? And other than this, from the false statements which you find from some of these extreme Sufis. So Ibn al-Farith, he has this poem known as a Ta'iyya fi Wahdat al-Wujud, right? Because it ends in every last bait of the poem in the letter Ta, speaking about this concept of Wahdat al-Wujud. Fiha kufr wa ilhad wa iyadu billah. It has inside of it disbelief, right? Because Wahdat al-Wujud is clear disbelief. This concept is kufr. Likewise, the belief that Allah is inside of everything is kufr, right? So it has these things inside of it. Kufr and ilhad, or any clear rejection of the asma wa sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. ولكن الشيخ لا يكفر صاحبها. But in spite of this, the Shaykh himself did not declare its author to be a disbeliever. The poem has kufr inside of it. These statements are statements of kufr. But this goes back to what we've been mentioning over the past few lessons, how ruling upon a particular statement is one thing. Ruling upon the one that made the statement is something else, right? The statement of kufr. As for the person, we will hesitate to make a ruling upon the person until conditions have been fulfilled and preventative factors have been removed, right? Conditions fulfilled, such as you establish the hujjah against them, right? You provide the evidence why he should not be saying this, right? He understands the evidence. He understands it. It's okay, I get it, I understand it, right? Clearly, but I reject it. I understand and I reject it, right? So then, now we're looking to implement the ruling upon the person, removing preventative factors such as ignorance. Was he forced or compelled to make the statement, right? Did he have some type of erroneous understanding that made him arrive at the statement? And like this. Now, so the author, Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab, he would call the statements of disbelief, but he would withhold in making a ruling upon the person. He did not declare its author to be a disbeliever. لأنه لا يدري ماذا ختم له, because he was not aware. What did the person die upon? What did the person die upon? نعم ولا يدري هل بلغته الحجة أو لم تبلغه. And he was not aware. Has the proof reached him or has it not reached him? Right? Has it reached him or has it not reached him? فهو يقول, he would say إن ما فيها إلحاد والكفر. He would say, meaning the author, Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab, he would say that poem, it has inside of it disbelief, and it has inside of it ilhad, rejection and deviation in the asma wa sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. ولكن صاحبها يتوقف. But the author of the poem, we withhold from making a ruling upon a specific person. Right? Takfir al-ayn. هذا مذهب أهل السنة والجماعة. So أهل السنة والجماعة are upon. Right? We're not like the Khawarij that we rush to make rulings of takfir upon the people. Right? We take our time, we're slow, we're deliberate, and we're careful with our statements. We know and we understand the statement of the Messenger of Allah alayhi wasallam, يقول لأخيه, whoever says to his brother, Ya kafir, whoever says to his Muslim brother, Ya kafir, then the statement, it goes up. I got it. We good. We good. It came out. Okay. We got it. Now, Bismillah. Okay, so he will say, as it relates to the individual, then we withhold, and this is the creed or the madhab of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, أنهم لا يشهدون لأحد بجنة أو نار, that we don't attest to paradise or hellfire for any specific individual, إلا من شهد له رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, except for those whom the Messenger of Allah alayhi has testified to paradise or the hellfire for, such as the 10 who were promised paradise, Abu Bakr fil Jannah, Umar fil Jannah, to the end of the hadith, right? And other than them from the companions who he would attest to as being in the in paradise. And likewise, certain individuals who we know beyond a shadow of a doubt are in hellfire, like Abdul-Wahhab and other than them from the disbelievers. Aside from this, those whom we know for a fact that a person may have died upon whatever he has died upon, or whatever the case may be, the creed of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah is that we do not declare anyone, we don't testify for anyone that he is from Ahl Jannah or that he is from Ahl Nar specifically, right? We can say in general, the kuffar who die upon kufr, they're going to the hellfire. Generally speaking, the believers who we know die upon Islam, they're going to Jannah. As for so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, he's in paradise, then we withhold from things like this unless we have an evidence from the Kitab and the Sunnah that so-and-so is from Ahl Nar. We don't know a person's reality, don't know what they died upon. We have good thoughts for the believers, and we fear for the wicked. Ibn Arabi ma'ruf. And likewise, Ibn Arabi, this individual, Ibn Arabi, he is well known. He is Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi. So there's another Ibn al-Arabi. Ibn al-Arabi, this person is from Ahl Sunnah, right? Person is a scholar from Ahl Sunnah. Ibn Arabi, without the alif and lam, this individual here, he is the one who he has disbelief inside of some of his statements. He is known as Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi al-Ta'i. He is the Imam. He is the Imam of Wahd al-Wujud, this concept that we mentioned earlier. He is the one who came up with it, this concept of Wahd al-Wujud. And Ibn al-Farid, the aforementioned, he is from the followers of Ibn Arabi. He's from the followers and the students of Ibn Arabi. And in spite of this, and mind you, some of the scholars actually declared Ibn Arabi to be a kafir, right? But the Shaykh himself, right, what he is saying is that he frees himself from the statement that Ibn Sahim said about him. He said about me that I said this, that I said that, I said this, I said that, right? And this is what's incumbent upon us, as we said, that you don't let others write your story for you. You clarify if there's a need to clarify. Otherwise, whatever is said, it's just going to be out there, right? It's just going to be out there, and this is going to be the story, right? But you tell your own story, you clarify if there's a need to clarify, as the scholars will do, as even the Messenger of Allah alayhi did himself, right? And we mentioned to you last night, those who were here, the narration in which he was with his wife, Sophia. And two of the companions walked by, and they saw him with this woman, being his wife. He stopped them, and he clarified, hey, stop. Stop, hold on. This is Sophia. This is my wife. He clarified, right? So much of Allah, we wouldn't think anything bad about you. He said, I know, but Shaitan, he runs through the son of Adam like blood through his veins. Now, so we clarify if there's a need to clarify. And you know, what does it harm us to clarify? What does it harm us to clarify? We love our Aqidah. So we have no problem telling you what it is that we believe in. We love the Aqidah. We love what comes along with it. Now, and so, as it relates to the Shaykh himself, what he's saying is that I didn't say these things that he's saying I said, right? He said I said this, I said that, even though one may be justified in calling Ibn Arabi a kafir. One may be justified in saying a statement of truth regarding Ibn al-Farid, right? Because they had clear-cut disbelief in their statements, in their poems, in their writings, and the likes of this. And some of the ulama actually declared Ibn Arabi to be a kafir. But the Shaykh is saying, I didn't know. But I didn't say it. Nah? And so he's saying that Ibn al-Farid is from the followers of Ibn Arabi. ومع هذا فإن الشيخ لا يجزم بكفرهما. In spite of this, the Shaykh, he did not firmly assert their disbelief. وإن كان قال كفرا وضلالا وإلحادا. Even though he spoke with disbelief, they spoke with ilhad and extreme deviation in asma wa sifat of Allah, and they spoke with misguidance. لكن التكفير المعين يحتاج إلى تثبت. But takfir upon a specific person, it needs tathabbut. We have to investigate, have to verify certain things, have to affirm certain affairs. وإن, he says, نعم لأنه ربما أنه تاب. Because perhaps the person said a statement at one point, but repented from it. نعم, maybe he said a statement, and the statement may have been disbelieved, but then he repented from that statement. نعم, ربما ختم له بتوبة. Or perhaps he made tawbah and died upon the tawbah. Right? If we look at, for example, some of the writings of Al-Ghazali. Some of the writings of Al-Ghazali is known. Al-Ghazali, he was a scholar of the Shafi'i madhab, the scholar in the madhab of Imam Shafi'i. And he wrote books in the earlier portion of his life affirming knowledge. And books in fiqh and some very good writings. Then he was tested and tried. And he delved into tasawwuf, into Sufism. In his stage of his life where he was into tasawwuf and Sufism, he wrote his book Ihya Ulumuddin. Right? Ihya Ulumuddin, well-known book by Al-Ghazali, contained all types of heresies and all types of bid'ah in it. All types of false narrations and fabricated narrations and all types of Sufism. And this became, he became well known for this, to the point that the Sufis, they rely heavily upon his writings, especially what is written in his book. But at the end of his life, what happened? He repented. Left those beliefs. He died with a nuskha, a copy of Sahih al-Bukhari upon his chest, as an indication that he held to the beliefs that are mentioned inside of Sahih al-Bukhari. We heard, for those who caught the channel link yesterday, Shaykh Hassan al-Madawi spoke about some of the books where we extract the Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah from. He mentioned the Sahih al-Bukhari, especially Kitab al-Iman, Kitab al-Tawheed, Kitab al-I'tisam al-Sunnah, and Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari. Al-Ghazali, he died with the nuskha upon his chest as an indication that he held to what was inside of this book. So a person may end his life upon tawbah. Maybe he lived his whole life, and this is what corresponds with the statement of the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam. Indeed a person, he may live his life, or he may live his whole life conducting the actions of the people of hellfire, until he is, there's between it and him an arm's length, and then what has been written over him overtakes him, and his affair changes, and now he's acting like the people of paradise. He dies upon that action, thus he enters the paradise. It's because the affairs are based upon how they end. This is the most important part of your story, how it ends. Person may mess up his whole life, right? At the end, Allah blesses him, right? He makes tawbah. It's only by the tawfiq of Allah. You don't know. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know how it's going to end, right? This is why the Arabs, they say, in relation to the statement of Allah Azza wa Jalla, وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, don't die except as Muslims. مَنْ عَاشَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ يَمُوتُ عَلَيْهِ. Whoever lives upon something, he's going to die upon what he lived upon. So therefore, if you want to die as a Muslim, live as a Muslim. You want to die upon Islam, live upon Islam. But the point that we're making, however, is that we don't know how this situation is going to end, how anybody's situation is going to end, ours or anybody else's. And that's the most important factor, or the most important aspect, is how your story ends. Perhaps the person makes tawbah at the end of his life. And so, min al-kadhab ala Shaykh Aida, he also mentions that from the lies that people place upon the Shaykh as well, and is that they say, innahu uhriq or ahraqa daftar dalail al-khayrat, is that he burned copies of dalail al-khayrat, right? Again, this is something which the Shaykh, he never did, right? Not to say he wouldn't be justified if he did it. Okay, this is what we do with the books of the people of bid'ah. They are to be burned. They are to be destroyed, so they don't spread. If if copies of the Mus'haf or the Masahif, now during the time of Uthman, right, where the people were disputing regarding the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, so he had all of the Masahif burned. They contradicted the main Mus'haf that was taken from Abu Bakr. He gave it to his daughter, who passed it to her sister, and like this. And Uthman, he sent for it, and it had all of the manuscripts of the Quran that contradicted that one burned, had them burned, right? And had every other Mus'haf copied from that one, right? So if it would be permissible to burn that, right, burn the Mus'haf, what do you think about the books of the people of Bid'ah? Right? So no doubt this is something that's done. But there's no need in lying on the Shaykh. No need in lying on the Shaykh. He didn't do it. And if he did do it, he would have been justified in doing it. But he didn't. So don't lie on a man and say that he did something or said something he didn't do or didn't say. Now, at any rate, they were saying that he burned copies of Dala'il al-Khayrat. ودلائل الخيرات هو كتاب في صلاة السلام على خير البريات, and it is a book that was written regarding the topic of sending the salat and the salam upon the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam. However, it contains inside of it extremism in this regard, extremism in relation to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. وفيه دعاء للرسول, it contains inside of it يعني dua to the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. So therefore, as it is a book that has batil inside of it, has falsehood and heresy inside of it. However, the Shaykh, he didn't burn it. He didn't burn it. And if he did, he would have been right for doing it, but he didn't. Now, لكنه كان يوصي بقراءة الكتب المفيدة الخالية من المخالفات. But what he would do was advise with reading the books that are free of opposition to the correct creed and methodology. Now, similarly, the book Rawd al-Riyahin. The book Rawd al-Riyahin, it is likewise a book that contains extremism as it relates to the Prophet alayhi salam, dua to him, claiming for him that he has things that he does not have in reality. However, tahriquha la yuaddi ila natijatin. But burning it, it's not something which the Shaykh he did. وافتروا على الشيخ وقالوا سماه روض الشياطين, and they lied upon him as well, saying that he referred to it as روض الشياطين. وهذا كله من الكذب على الشيخ, and all of these are amongst the lies that were placed upon the Shaykh. And so he follows all of this up with his jawab, saying my response is as follows. And we're going to stop here inshallah ta'ala and take his jawab in the last class, which is going to be on Monday, and that will conclude this book. So again, we're going to be studying the 3 fundamental principles of Islam going forward, starting next Tuesday, inshallah ta'ala, and that will be our new Monday and Tuesday class. So we encourage everyone to get the book, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. It's better for you if get the explanation. We have it here in the bookstore, as far as I know. Get the explanation and study the explanation in your time. And you can bring it, you can take your notes in it and things like this. However, as best when coming to a class that you have the matan itself, just the matan, right? So you can follow the matan, and we encourage memorizing it if you can. If you memorize the Surah Al-Ath, inshallah ta'ala, we encourage with that. But get the matan and also get the explanation, so you can write your notes in the explanation and like this, inshallah. Allah knows best. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.